All right, good evening, everyone. This is Disco from the All Shapes and Sizes podcast. I'm doing this video tonight. This video, matter of fact, I'm speaking to on this video my brother Hassan Campbell. Hassan Campbell has a YouTube channel for those that don't know. The brother speaks about, he touches on a lot of different topics. I put a little picture up here of him so you can see who I'm referring to. And a matter of fact, I just talked about him on another video that actually is on this particular channel right here. But anyway, with that being said, I watched a ton of Hassan Campbell's videos. I watched a ton of your videos, brother. I agree with some of the stuff you say. I disagree with other things. But I get your angle on what you're coming at. So overall, I do salute you because I get where you're coming from and where you're coming in the direction you're coming at. You know what I'm saying? Being another black brother that's looking to, give some positive information out there for our youth, as well as our older adults in this generation, as our people as a whole. Let me say it that way, especially coming from where we come from, right? So with that being said, I just watched your video you posted a couple hours ago on FBG Duck from Chicago's mother reaching out there in regards to a song that Lil Durk put out there dissing. So first, let me say this. When it comes to that Chicago scene, that Chirac scene, I've been following that for years. So I'm heavily engaged in what takes place out there, what goes on out there, and every bit of the negativity with it, and also understanding what's going on from these young soldiers and why they move, how they move, what caused it, the domino effect, and understanding that. I'm big on understanding what put people in certain places. Even in my own inner city, even the way that a lot of us grew up and how some of the things that we might have got into, understanding the domino effect, what got us up to that stage before we got more or less say enlightened and then decided to change and pivot in regards to how we move as people. What brought us here? The negative chambers that we went through. Why did we go through those negative chambers? So that being said, just to let you, I just wanted you to understand that for me, it's deeper than the current. We got to look at the past to understand the current so that we can alter what we need to do for the future or make those changes. So with that being said, so I listened to your video, right? So I'm getting everything you're saying at your video initially. I'm like, okay, I get what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is the culture that they have there in regards to how they make music. But I get what you're saying currently. Yeah. So every bit of what you're saying, the message is there. I fully get it. Where you lost me at, my brother, was here. And you did it a couple times in the video, and you even talked about it, saying, because at one time you kind of was somewhat, whether you realize it or not, I get your point. You still were instructing him to possibly pivot that energy versus a song, a lyrical, verbal song, dissing Duck. You wanted him to push that energy to possibly, based off what you were saying, handle your business, put in that work with Rondo. So understand this, my brother. You actually put out there that the lyrical stuff, that's a song that he's doing, not a physical action. Yo, stop doing that, disrespecting the dead. You should be doing, if anything, for King Von, putting in some work. Bro, that's somewhat counterproductive. Matter of fact, it is counterproductive. You got to understand this. You're sending mixed signals. You know what I'm saying? To the youth, to be honest. And I get keeping it real, keeping it what it is. But at the same time, you're still sending mixed signals because you're saying you should do this versus this. If you're going to do something. You still shouldn't do this, but you should be. I think there's a level of responsibility that you got to have in that message because whether you realize it or not, your platform's growing. My man put me onto you a while ago, and I was cousin not feeling you. And they was on other topics. And I was like, yeah, he conspiracy stuff and this, that, third, and the industry and all that right there. I don't get all into that to that magnitude. But I know that's what you do. So I'm not knocking it, but I do take Jews. I sit there and listen when I be like, yo, he's spot on. I'm vibing what he's saying right there. I respect him what he's saying right there. I like his approach on that. So I do it. As you can see with my last video, I'm actually giving you accolades, along with my man City Nash from the Crip out there in Cali, because of what y'all was speaking on. in regards to Bootsy and that guard that stick in the car challenge. Fully understand it. So my point is, when you're delivering this message and you're speaking to the youth and keeping it real and keeping it gangster, I believe it's still a responsibility that you have to have where you keep it real when you keep it gangster, but you got to stand on one side of the road, this one or that one. And that's especially with your platform and how it's growing. And I think I've seen a video with you even stating that same thing. Yo, side of the road, you got to pick a side. So that's what I'm expressing to you. And at times, the same way I said in my video, even when it comes to Boosie, sometimes we need that realignment from our own kind. You know what I'm saying? We need to be checked sometime or even brought to the enlightenment or, yo, damn, I was kind of slipping on that one right there. I was throwing some different vibes there. I was getting at a point, but I was throwing a little kind of mixed signal for some people. Because that's what it came across to me. I listened to the whole thing in its entirety, and it was like, yeah, I get what he's saying, but damn, there's never a point in there we should be really directing that brother. Yeah, you know his address. You saying stuff like that was like, yo, are you somewhat inciting and trying to fuel that energy? So if Durk happens to see yours, he like, yeah, man, fuck this. Yeah, let me go put that work in. Because that could be an aftermath or outcome of your video. You're probably more influential than you think. Because we know nowadays people run off of that. And I don't think Durk, shout out to King Durk, I don't think that's going to be the case. But it possibly can to somebody younger to make them think, man, let me not make a diss song. Because there's other youth that might be listening to yours and applying this Durk message to their life. No, let me not put out a diss song against this dude here. Let me go put that work in over here. So that's what I'm saying to you, my brother. I get what you're getting at. I get your point. But we got to know when we got to turn around and look at it and say, yo, got to be responsible with how we approach this, especially when we stand on the other side of that. And we're that message and we're that voice and we have these platforms to speak to the youth. We got to stand one way or the other. And like I say, listen, you go check my podcast, All Shapes and Sizes. There's little times in there where me and my co-host, we knock heads. I go back there and check something or look at something and come back on there. I'm apologetic. It ain't nothing for me to keep it a buck and say, yo, I was wrong. Ooh, I peeped that. I was wrong. I had that wrong. I approached that wrong. Or you was right about this. I went and looked at it again and yeah. Because to me, I think that's what we do as men. We show men that we are mature enough. We show men that we can turn around and take ownership for even when we convey a message that's wrong. That's all I ask you to do, my brother Hassan Campbell. Take time, go back and address this in the future. If you feel like it, if you feel it's worth even addressing, if you feel some people might feel they never even strayed nobody because maybe they didn't understand. I look at it as if your message went out here and let's say when I looked at it, you had like 21,000 views. If one out of 21,000 views, one of those viewers took that message and reacts left off of it, I don't care if it's only 1 out of 29,000, bro. Like you said about Durk, that blood's on your hand. So understand that. Just be more responsible with it. Still, I'm going to stay tuned in. Like what you're doing. Keep it going because, hey, I'm a realist. I balance everything out, man. Everybody's not perfect, nor am I. If 95% of what you're saying is on some positive stuff and some uplifting our people, I'm going to rock and listen to it all day. I might not agree with a couple here. I say what I'm not in agreement with. But anything else I'm in agreement with, I'm going to keep saying, keep pushing it. Keep making it happen. Shout out to Durk. Do your thing. Keep it out there. Definitely pay attention to the positive parts of Hassan's message. The families of Duck, King Vaughn, all the fallen soldiers. Once again, even to my aunt, lost a cousin, same way. October 20th, once again, RIP. Feel good to hug. Love you. You mean? All mother fallen soldiers, cousin Bub, TJ, everybody else, Project, everywhere in the United States. Let's say that everywhere in the world, all the fallen soldiers, especially as young minorities, black and Hispanic kids that are fallen due to guns or inner city violence and negative stuff that we need to be able to control and pivot differently. Take that energy back. Formulate, come together. One thing King Hassan said in his video that I fully agree. He said him and his team used to click up. If it's somebody here, we need to do that as a whole, people. Know when we need to click up and formulate and make these gangs, you know what I'm saying, be more fruitful and financial. Episode number 6, if you watch that on our show, I talk about that there in regards to how our gangs need to kind of understand how we need to take power. You guys are marketing tools now. You Crips and you Bloods, y'all dudes right there are probably the best in regards to being able to cultivate and make financial gains off of your empires that you created. Understand how to make this Crip and this blood thing, this movement that's now a West Coast, down South, and East Coast movement. Understand how to make profit from that and make people understand that you can get this legal money and build this to the point where it's a fad for some of these little kids in this. Understand how you make that into something positive and make some money off of that and flip that business and flip that and make, hey, here, no, there. We talk about that on another subject or go watch the podcast. But once again, I'm Disco. This is Disco's Corner. This is your daily report. All Shapes and Sizes podcast. Tune in. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it. We talk about everything.